Good afternoon, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on this special World Storytelling Day. Our main focus today will be about our usage of African languages and Africa in a broader context, because we are represented by our communities from different parts of the world, ranging from Latin America, the Caribbean, Brazil, and other parts of the diaspora. For our guests that are not aware of our initiative, the AfricanTales initiative, this is a diaspora initiative initiated many years ago in order for us to work on elevating our cultural heritage and history, and to make sure that our history, our tradition are widely known and easily accessible to our people, especially the young generation. You do realize that most of our African history and traditions, they're not written, they're passed on from one generation to another. Therefore, with this project, our aim is to ensure that we can preserve our heritage and also make it easily accessible, but as well as make sure that we can interact with each other as Africans wherever we are in the world around our common cultural heritage. Therefore, the project involves almost all communities of Africans around the world. The idea behind that being that where we live here in the diaspora, we do not see ourselves as nationals of specific countries, because we are just referred to as Africans. So in that sense, we've also tried to unite with each other and work with each other in order to support each other in the best way we can when we are far away from our home countries. And with this experience, we also wish that we can also forge similar relations with different countries in Africa and bring about unity through our cultural heritage. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, today we have 7 narrators that are all from different regions. We have representation from Southern African region, East Africa, North Africa, we have Central America, the Caribbean, and Brazil. They'll be here and West Africa, excuse me, they're here to talk about specific traditions and history of their countries from their own communities. They will introduce the topics either in French, Dutch, or English. These are the common languages we use in our network because we have communities from all over the world. So we mainly converse in French, English, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Swahili. We use all the languages that our communities communicate in within our network. So we have special tools today. I'll let the technical director explain to you how to use the translating tools to make sure that you can follow the introductions. But the stories themselves will be narrated in their mother tongues. Those will be translated later on the videos, and you'll be able to access them on our website later after the meeting. So please enjoy the narration of African stories from around the world. And at the end of the narrations, you'll be able to ask questions and the presenters will interact with you. Thank you so much and enjoy yourselves. Our first, are we going to give information about the translation too? So we just start with the speakers.
We already explained the translation.
Okay, for the new people.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, for the new who don't use Google Meet, there's a CC icon in the middle if you're using a computer. A CC icon, you just press it. On your right, on the bottom right, you will see an icon. You can click on it. You will go straight to the settings. And settings, you just choose caption. You choose the language of the meeting and the language that you want to translate to. So you just switch on this option. You should find the caption displayed at the bottom. I will tell the same thing in French now. Sur l'écran, vous avez une icône au milieu de l'écran qui est en CC. Si vous appuyez dessus, vous allez voir au bas à droite de l'écran. Si vous êtes sur un ordinateur et cliquez dessus, vous allez voir le menu des paramètres, des choisissez des captions et des sous-titres et la langue de la réunion et la langue que vous voulez traduire. Voilà, j'espère que je vous ai aidé. De toute façon, cette session va être, on va rajouter des sous-titres après cette session pour que tout le monde puisse comprendre. Voilà, thank you very much. Okay, have a good session.
Yes, so our first speaker, our main guest, our guest of honor today is Madame Nene Gueye, who's a native of Senegal and speaks mother tongue Wolof. Nene is in charge of the African language program at the Center for Linguistics and Historical Studies through Oral Traditions. The place is called CELHTO. This is based in Niger, and it's an office extension of the African Union Commission. In 2022, Nene initiated a contest on African folktales to illustrate 10 African traditional values. The competition that was open to citizens from Western and Central Africa gained the participation of more than 148 storytellers and writers from Africa. Nene set the project on storytelling not only to promote African values, but also to reinforce the use of African languages, which are the original languages of folk tales. Nene has a passion for the promotion of African languages and culture. She taught her native tongue Wolof for 3 decades and worked as cross-culture adaptation instructor. She worked as a language professor and coordinator for the American Peace Corps from 1990 to 2002 before she left for Japan, where she taught French, Wolof, and cultural adaptation to JICA volunteers for 3 years in the JICA Training Center in Komagane in Japan. In 2007, Nene worked as a post-language program instructor, then became the post-language coordinator in the American Embassy in Dakar, Senegal. Nene has written several books, including manuals for beginners in French and Wolof, and is certified tester for Wolof and French. She also teaches intercultural communication class and used to be a facilitator for project design and management for Peace Corps and trainers for language instructors as well. Please welcome our guest speaker, Nene Gueye. For the English-speaking people, you can switch off to the language translators because Nene will speak in French for the introduction.
Bonjour ou bonsoir tout le monde. Je voudrais remercier les organisateurs de cette rencontre pour célébrer la journée du conte qui se tiendra demain et 20 mars. Quand on parle du mois de mars, nous pensons aussi à un mois dédié à la femme, plus particulièrement le 8 mars, qui commémore une tragédie qui s'est abattue sur des femmes qui ont été brûlées vives dans une usine à New York, aux États-Unis, alors qu'elles revendiquaient leurs droits. Que le mois de mars soit celui dans lequel on célèbre le conte, le récit et les femmes, c'est un symbole très fort, celui du devoir de ne pas laisser dans l'oubli des braves dames du passé, pétries de courage et de sens du sacrifice pour la postérité. C'est la raison pour laquelle j'ai choisi de vous narrer le récit qu'on appelle communément chez nous au Sénégal Talata Inder. Talata veut dire mardi. Inder, c'est un village qui est au Sénégal, qui dans le passé était la capitale du royaume du Walo. Le Walo se trouve dans le nord au Sénégal actuel. Et les femmes dans ce Walo, un mardi du mois de novembre 1819, ont été obligées de s'enfermer dans une case et d'y mettre le feu pour échapper à l'asservissement. Donc, à tout à l'heure pour l'histoire de Talata Inder. Merci. Jërëjëf.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Gueye. Merci pour cette histoire très intéressante. Et vous restez avec nous parce qu'on va demander l'audience à demander quelques questions après la narration. Merci beaucoup. Our next speaker, I'm not sure if the person I'm looking for is, but I will go to the next person that's available. I will call Madame Cynthia, Ambassador Cynthia. Are you with us? Ambassador Cynthia? Ambassador Cynthia, are you around? In that case, I will call Penda Choppy. Penda, are you around?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Penda is the director of the Creole Language and Culture Research Institute at the University of Seychelles. She was the director of the Creole Institute of Seychelles from 1999 to 2014, when she became its CEO. She moved to the University of Seychelles in 2016. Penda studied English at Leeds University as an undergraduate from 1992 to 1995 and obtained a master's degree for research from the University of Birmingham in the UK in 2018. She completed a doctoral research degree with the Islands and Small States Institute, University of Malta in January 2023, just recently. And her main research interests are the oral and written Creole traditions of the Western Indian Ocean in the post-colonial and small island context. Before I call Penda, I just want to mention that for our project, the AfricanTales, the major part of putting the oral folk stories at the core of our project actually was initiated during our visit to the Seychelles, when we saw through their archives that they had a lot of collections of folk stories of African communities in the Seychelles. And looking through them with some of the cultural department officers, we noticed that a lot of similarities between the stories that were told on the islands and stories on the mainland. So from that moment, around 2011, when I met Penda, that we actually created the school competition for children, and thought that would be key in us trying to preserve our cultural heritage, because there's a lot of information stored in the folk stories, and they're fundamental to our preservation of our cultural heritage and history. So welcome, Penda, and Penda, please, your turn.
Thank you, Walia. It's quite an honor to be with the group this afternoon to participate in this event that's after my own heart, because, you know, this is the subject. I have made stories the subject of my research, and I just completed my PhD, where I used folktales of Seychelles as my data. Okay, so just to be sure that I know what I'm doing, so I shall share my screen now and go on to do my presentation. Is that correct? Yes? Well, yeah,
Sure, Penda, yes. Yes, that's correct. We just need you to give us, you already gave us a background of the information, and then you revert to Creole, if that's okay. Because you came after we had already explained to the other speakers. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So very briefly, in my research, I discussed the question of creolization, creativity, creolization, and identity in Seychellois Creole folktales. But in terms of history, what we found out, because Seychelles is an ex-slave society, and also Seychelles is the place where after the abolition of slavery, which, as you know, in the Indian Ocean did not take effect well until the 1840s, really. And in Seychelles, it carried on. When the British Navy was trying to enforce abolition, so and whilst Arab but also French traders were still carrying on with the trafficking in the Indian Ocean, so they fought that by capturing slave ships on the Indian Ocean high seas and dumped them in several places. And very often Seychelles was one of the closest destinations. So a lot of captured slaves were liberated and dumped in Seychelles, which augmented the African component of the Seychellois population. So, which means that we have in the Indian Ocean, among the Creole Islands, because we have 3 Seychelles, Mauritius, and Reunion, Seychelles has the highest component of African population. And I have not done the study to know whether we have the highest component of African stories of African origins. But I do know my research did suss out that in fact in Seychelles this is the even though we do have a lot of European stories, but we also have a high component of stories of African origins. So I will share my screen now, and I will switch to Creole, the language that the slaves, my ancestors, the Africans, created in order to cope with the situation of enslavement. Okay. Donc, mon présentation, il appelle Histoires Seychelles, Stories of Seychelles. As you can see, I have prepared the PowerPoint in English so you can understand, but I will speak in Creole. OK. Donc, Seychelles, nous anti-héros, connu comme Sungula. Et les histoires Sungula, ils forment partie des histoires peuple seychellois. Ils tracent l'histoire les plus grands groupes ethniques dans sa pays qui t'y mené dans sa bande île à travers l'esclavage. Et ça, c'est Bantou. Première population Seychelles, qui compris une grande sélection de groupes ethniques qui représentent le continent, l'Afrique, l'Europe et l'Asie. C'est un groupe plus ou moins forcé ensemble dans l'espace très petit l'espace qui nous petit lui permet dans un système plantation et que l'esclavage en un régime colonisation. Et ça, son résultat, c'est un culture créolisé. Mais son résultat plus long, c'est un grand, comment dire, recess pour l'identité. Et ça, il a manifesté dans les histoires, dans nos folklores, surtout dans nos bonnes histoires. Et ça images il montrait un petit peu les temps nous petit peu célébrer nous 250 ans peuplement Samanzil un petit peu dans physionomie Samandimon qui peut célébrer qui peut commémorer ça l'événement il montrait un petit peu Saman premier groupe qui peut placer celle. Et dans mon recess, résultat mon recess, il montrait un petit peu qui quantité d'histoires qui sont sorties de différents endroits, différents composants, sortis l'Afrique, l'Europe, l'Asie, Moyen-Orient, et il y en a une certaine quantité qui ne sont pas capables de placer. On appelle les autres donc inconnus, unknown. Et par les autres voix, en total, inclut bonnes histoires seychellois qui s'éloignent créer eux autres mêmes, mais qui en a un fort qui ne servent bonne composante très très africain. En total, il y en a 85 histoires. Il y en a 69 histoires qui mon atelier aux autres de l'origine de l'Europe. Ces histoires sorties l'Asie et le Moyen-Orient et 29 histoires qui ne sont pas capables avec aucune cité place d'autres. Dans l'océan Indien, on a un phénomène qui nous appelle Indian Oceanic World. Les mondes indiens océaniques, qui veut dire ça, qui est une civilisation très ancienne, tout dit là, ça qui comme là, nous connaissons comme Indian Ocean Rim, tout le tour, depuis en bas, l'Australie, fait les tours, l'Inde, Moyen-Orient, descend dans l'Est de l'Afrique, jusqu'en bas dans le sud l'Afrique, y compris aussi éventuellement bonnes îles. Et ça, bonne civilisation qui impliquait civilisation indienne, persienne, iranien, imagine comme il a nous connaît, et civilisation swahili et les autres civilisations bantou. Ainsi qu'il y en a bonne migration maritime, bonne indonésienne, sorti dans presque Pacifique pour venir la côte l'Est de l'Afrique et ensuite Madagascar. Et qui n'arrivait, ça bonne rencontre, il fait qui déjà on a un mélange, un pré-mélange, nous capables de dire, une transférence culturelle entre ça des différents groupes. Et ça, plus tard, il y a un transfert dans les îles l'océan Indien. Ça veut dire, nous voyons beaucoup, par exemple, côté concerne folklore, surtout dans l'histoire, nous voyons beaucoup de créatures mythologiques qui ont un transfert dans ce qu'on appelle les îles plantations. Surtout sorti Madagascar. Et là, on arrive dans sa bande île, surtout dans Seychelles, qui sa groupe population qui m'en focalise là pour Mauritius. Zotingaï créolisé encore plus. Par exemple, nous tous nous dans Caraïbes, nous avons sa caractère qui s'appelle Anansi. Et nous, dans nos îles, l'océan Indien, dans Maurice et la Réunion, nous connaissons comment Yev, ou Yev, qu'on appelle Yev. Et nous, Seychelles, nous connaissons comment Sungula. Et ça triquait. OK? Lee Herring, qui est folkloriste, qui fait beaucoup de recherches, le banzil sud-ouest, l'océan Indien. Il dit que Sungula, qui est un mot qui sorti dans le langage Yao, aussi dans Swahili, il existait. Une trace s'attriquait depuis lac Malawi, parmi les peuples Nyanja. Et par dit, il y a une version Swahili aussi qui dit Sungura ou Sungura. Tandis qu'il y a Beka aussi qui fait beaucoup de recherches, la contribution africaine dans le langage créole. C'est lui qui identifie Sungula comme un mot Yao qui veut dire lièvre. Et voilà, une représentation, mon cause de transformation à lièvre. Ici dans Seychelles, et si mon patron, d'après les recherches qu'ils m'ont fait, c'est seulement ici, c'est celle qui n'arrive ça. Et d'après les recherches auparavant qu'ils m'ont fait avec Norbert Salomon, ils ont produit une série d'histoires Sungula. Ça est arrivé ici, Seychelles, mais ça est à cause sa bonne contribution, sa bonne contribution bonne, l'esclave libéré de l'année 1860 en montant. Quand sa mot Sungula, il entre dans l'usage, il remplace sa mot comparatif parce que originalement, par les autres qu'on est, Seychelles, tu gagnes peuplé à partir bon colon français qui originalement tu sorti Maurice. Tu as atterri Maurice et c'était la Réunion aussi. Et les autres viennent avec sa bonne component folklore. Tu finis établi. Donc, les autres viennent avec comparatif. Mais après, plus tard, ça se transforme en Sungula. Avec le temps, nous perdons sa signification qui ça veut dire Sungula. Et pour ces lois, Sungula, il est une espèce demi-homme, demi-animaux qui ont grands oreilles avec un grand laquais. Par exemple, il est représenté. Et dans le livre Antoine Abel, daté 1981, et l'autre, son représentation par un artiste, c'est celui Colbert Nourrice. Par exemple, voir un profil là. À part qui africain Sungula, nous avons en créole, nous avons traduit comment un bébé envalé, qui envale tout, ça qui passe dans son sémen. Ça y est, ça y a une combinaison, ça, bébé envalé qui existait dans la mythologie l'Afrique, avec un bébé envalé qui existait dans la mythologie malgache, qui connaît comme Itrimobe. Et ça y représente l'essence ou bien ça mélange ça de Kilti Bantou et Malagasy qui n'a transféré après dans l'océan Indien. Itrimobe, il sorti dans mythologie création Pepe Merina qui par exemple connaît ça original indonésien qui fait ça qui traverse l'océan Indien pour venir l'Afrique et Madagascar dans 9e et 16e siècle. Et Herring, il fait ressortir qui bonne histoire swahili avec malgache par les autres combine un bébé de 7 la tête ou bien serpent 7 la tête avec sa bébé envalé sorti dans folklore bantou. Et sa bébé de 7 la tête, il gagne un clip dans la liste bon bébé qui envale tout. Tous les deux dans Kilti Swahili avec Malagasy. Par exemple, un gros coq ou bien sap qui dévore tout, ça qui coupe dans d'autres semaines. Ici, c'est celle plus connue parmi dans nos folklore, il s'appelle qui appelle Loulou. Loulou, il y a une transposition, ça mot loul. Dans le langage malgache, il est en ouget li, il écrit lolo, mais seulement en prononciation malgache, il loul. Et en créole, nous avons ça suffixe pour qu'on ait pour dire, bon, qui linguiste, qu'on ait pour dire créole, il y en a une tendance, nous en avons prothèse et caférèse, préfixe, suffixe, etc. Donc, nous en avons une tendance, par exemple, jamais c'est le roi, il pourrait un consonne li tout seul à la fin un mot, nous avons une tendance pour nous ajouter un suffixe avec, donc loul, in vin loulou. Et avec les temps, pareil, sungula, son signification d'origine, in perdu, et il gagne interprété pareil, ça mot français, le loup, de bonnes histoires. Et c'est ça qui nous voit illustré dans l'histoire, dans sa représentation comique Antoine Abel 1981. Par exemple, nous voyons un les loups dans l'histoire Tizan, Zan et Cloulou. Et voilà, ça, les loups, ils transforment en un ziwoma. Et ça, ziwoma, les temps qu'ils ont Tizan avec son parent, les temps ils ont réussi à sauver, dans camp Loulou, ils retournent contre leurs parents, ils brûlent sa Loulou, et dans la sonne sa Loulou, un pied ziwoma qui poussé avec un seul ziwoma, ça ziwoma qui vient ziwoma zéant. Et 6 ans, il a envie, il coupe sa ziwoma, et là, il a coupé sa l'alliance ziwoma, il vient sa bébé, qui nous roule derrière lui pour envaler. Donc, ça, une version bébé envalé. Et ça qui est important pour connaître, il y en a une bonne qualité très, qui m'est capable de dire, un peu sinistre dans le caractère loulou qui les faits qui nous peut nous peut interpréter comment les loups français dans qu'il tu sais c'est parfois nous capable manque ça mais seulement des histoires ils montrent nous pour dire ça élément il là par exemple histoire tisan zanek loulou l'état nous compare avec avec version qui ouais il a massé Tales of the Bantus il vient même exactement même version de Haina Bridegroom et ça c'est dans la région Malawi même et ça qui est sinistre là c'est que les temps sa fille entêtée qui m'a y avec un loulou à cause il peut trop choisi un partenaire pour lui son frère soit il sautait et voit bon loulou peut danser peut chanter fin gras pas gras fin gras pas gras autres types santé et anticiper qui les temps sa fille entêtée il y en a assez gras autres pour manger et parfois moi quoi dans nous kilti nous temps pour nous appelle ça loup-garou aussi moi quoi Maurice aussi nous en loup-garou dans nos histoires loup-garou dans Paloulou et Cililine aussi nous revoit encore ça caractéristique côté loulou il gagne dépicté comment un bébé qui dévore du monde dévore humain dans Corbeau Saint-Éclicien qui est une histoire européenne mais avec créolisation il mélange il en a un qui m'a nous capable de dire ça en anglais il appelle framing côté des histoires ils joignent ensemble pour faire un seul et nous voyons des histoires loulou qui n'entrent dans des histoires Snow White et The Orange Princess côté ça qui empoisonne sa princesse il partit un pomme mais il un bout de jaune loulou loulou qui peut rodailler côté la case pour entrer dans la case mais parce que la fenêtre tu fermes son bout de jaune il casse dans bord de la fenêtre et dans peut nettoyer son lendemain beau matin sa zone casse dans les doigts sa princesse et voilà quand il tombe dormi il tombe comme si pareil comme dans un mort jusqu'en l'air il subit plusieurs transformations jusqu'en l'air il rencontre son prince qui pour réveiller mais ce qui est plus sinistre, le caractère loulou, il sortit plus comme un caractère sinistre, c'est de mariage qu'on peut lièvre. Madame Lièvre, qui est en voie de famille, qui envoie son monsieur pour, ça qui nous dit, Alceste disait loulou. Et qui tient des demandes impossibles, parce que pareil, Lièvre, il dit que son madame, mais loulou pas bonne. Et alors, puisque madame tient insisté, il joint un petit bonhomme qui en bas pied moulapa, notre bien pied moulapa qui d'après folklore, les grands qui n'amènent pas l'esclave à cause normalement, il pas un plan qui nous pousse à l'origine ici c'est celle. Et en bas à pied moula pas il fouille un tout il voit ça disait floulou et les madame Lievine fini consomme ça disait floulou il subit une douleur terrible qui est en fin de compte tout il et son monsieur Lièvre tu bien dit mais tu loulou ça donc en conclusion bonne histoire c'est celle une combine bonne créative mythique avec bonne bébête sorti l'Indonésie et Madagascar ensemble avec bonne bébête l'Afrique l'Est Et ça m'a bébé réinterprété par la population locale et avec le temps, d'autres significations originales in perdu. Mais le temps nous li plus profond, d'autres encore représente sa signification originale un petit peu dans sa bonne histoire. Et malgré qu'il nous ajoute une nouvelle signification, autres pas perdu l'essentiel dans le processus de créolisation. Et voilà, c'est tout. Merci.
Thank you very much, Penda. I think everybody understands the interest that drew us to the Seychelles. It's got such a rich collection of information on our traditions and cultures, and you can hear from our presentation the links to all the different countries on the continent. And this is the basis that we thought that through knowing about each community's tradition, we can actually formulate a more united Africans, despite being from different countries. Before we continue with our next speaker, I would like to ask all our guests, please to switch on your videos so we can have a group photo before our technical support leaves the meeting. Would you all please switch on your videos, please? And good afternoon to the people joining us after. Sorry? Everybody, please switch on your videos. Madam Nene?
I am trying, sister, but it says that it is denied.
Oh, you cannot. Okay, give us your. Maybe you just give us your caption photo as well. That should be okay. All right. Just your caption photo should be fine as well. You say cheese.
I'm coming in a bit. I'm just focusing. I'm coming.
Okay. Give us a smile.
Oh.
Francois, we are ready. Tell us when you're done.
Done.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And
take care. Wait. Continue. I think I have to leave. That's
sorry.
Fantastic session.
Okay.
So, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Francois, and we'll catch up later. Thank you for your support, as usual.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I came on to another gadget so I can do the picture because mine was not being given permission.
Let me do it again.
Okay, we do it again. Please, everybody, switch on your videos.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. So our next guest, Rogeria, just confirm if you're around so we can present you. I don't see Rogeria. Then we can bring Ambassador Cynthia. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, Ambassador.
Excuse me?
Good afternoon. I'll present you, and then you can give us an introduction of your chosen story narration, and then you give us in Garifuna language.
Excellent.
I'll just introduce you, then you give an introduction of the story, and then you can present the rest of the story in Garifuna. And explain so that people understand what Garifuna community is, because not everybody knows our communities around the world, where they are. Thank you, Ambassador, for being with us this afternoon. We really appreciate your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Cynthia Ellis, who is a mother of 5 children, a grandmother to 17 grandchildren, and a mentor to countless other people she has been a pioneer in Belize and beyond, from mentoring youth and community leaders to improve the quality of their lives in areas of sustainability and environmental justice issues. Her passion has been to help people help themselves. As the champion of the Duke of Edinburgh Award Belize, she has trained and mentored several leaders countrywide to aid them in promoting innovative projects such as preserving the El Pilar forest gardening. She'll explain those points herself. As an advocate, Ms. Ellis has mobilized women and worked on addressing violence issues in Belize. She serves as the ambassador at large for Garifuna Nation, a network of Garifuna around the world, working to build sovereignty and land rights for the Garifuna. She's also currently compiling a life story and lessons into a memoir on her experiences as an activist. Recently, Ms. Ellis has spent time traveling around the US working with other members of the Garifuna Nation, colleagues from the University of Santa Barbara, the Ohio State University and other universities, and participating in the UN Permanent Forum for Indigenous Issues and the Alabama Black Midwives Conferences. Ms. Ellis' motto is building Belize one family at a time. As a woman of the 21st century, she considers herself for the world. She rests in the spirit of her spiritual name, Lubafu Isieni, to promote people of destiny and purpose. Her mission, vision, and aim are to coach, encourage, and mentor anyone who wants to challenge themselves to be the best they can be. Welcome, Ambassador Ellis.
Thank you, Sister P. It's a privilege and an honor and be in this sacred space. And I was very impressed by the previous speakers, and my approach will be to interweave the fact that Garifuna, that I'll say a little bit about the Garifuna. We were declared as a people as a masterpiece culture for humanity. And this was done in 2001 because it is recognized that we are people who stretch across waters and borders in bringing people from all walks of life together. In Garifuna, I want to say Bwiti Binafi, that is good morning, good day. So I'm going to intersperse the presentation with Garifuna songs, stories, and English as well, out of respect of the fact I don't think that you have a Garifuna translator. And I would like the engagement to be interconnected. One of the things that about Garifuna people, there are different versions of the story. This is a storytelling celebration. And stories are told by us in many different shapes and forms, by songs, by how we dress, by how we braid our hair, by how we have our food. There are many versions and ways of telling a story in what we call Garifuna Duao. Garifuna Duao is the Garifuna state of being. We are royalty from Africa. That is, many of our people traverse the waters from Africa across the Atlantic Ocean to many parts of the world. And we are connected to different people around the world. Who are we? I went to India, the island of Goa, many years ago, and met some Tibetan monks. And they were doing a meditation with the word D. And D is a word that we use in Garifuna. So what I want to share in this storytelling pilgrimage that I have been on, and I'm asking you to join me, is that through words and through language, there is connectivity with each other. The other version of our transformation and our journey and pilgrimage is that we, the Garifuna people, were brought from West Africa for enslavement. However, that did not become possible because the story goes that we were on the island of St. Vincent, which the Garifuna people call Urome. We were brought there ostensibly to be enslaved. However, the ship ran ashore. It was compromised. And so we were invited by the Kalinago people and were later on called the Black Caribs. So in our history, our blood runs the original people who were in the Caribbean, in the Americas before the Europeans came. And so we combined and we were called Black Caribs. However, we refer to ourselves as Garifuna. And we are people who are all over the world, estimated 1 million of us. And our language has a combination of the peoples that we have interfaced with on our journey. So it would include African, indigenous First People, some European, Hispanic, and so on and so on. I will not go into those details because I am not a linguist from the Western or European perspective. I am a linguist from the indigenous African perspective. And that is what I want to use as an important reference point, that it is very important for us to embrace through African Tales, which is a powerful pilgrimage in itself, to get to really embrace and to acknowledge and to affirm and to change the narrative in terms of our sense of self and identity and the importance of succession for our children and our grandchildren, so that it is no longer from a reference point that is not our own. And therefore, the Garifuna gives a powerful gift. We are a bridge through our language. And language, I want to define, as I mentioned earlier, is not the words that comes out of our mouth alone. It is how we dress, how we wrap up with cloth, how we use our drums, how we use our shaka, how we dance jankuno, and so on and so forth. So I really want to identify this definition of language, not to be limited to the Western or European interpretation of language. And most recently, I live in Belize, and I most recently arrived from St. Vincent, which in Garifuna we call Balisau. And Balisau, Urome, is a place from which our people who had resisted enslavement were rounded up after many years of resisting enslavement, and we were pushed on this island called Balisau and left to die. We were genocided as a people. The power of this story, however, the power of this pilgrimage, however, is that we carried on this sense of self and sovereignty and identity by telling the story through our songs, through our dances, through our music, through our drums, through our shaka. And having gone to this reenactment of this atrocity that was done to the Garifuna people on the island of Balisau, due to our resistance, as the story goes, and there are paintings to show that rather than be in enslavement, many of our people chose to jump off a cliff and to take our lives rather than our lives be taken away from us. Our rituals and our prayers kept us and keep us alive. Our dances and our music keep us alive as we surrender to the strength and the spirit of the divine, the sacred, with love, with reverence, and with respect. And one of the expressions of this is called the Abe Mahani. The Abe Mahani is a a dance that we do where we connect with each other with the little finger. And the basic principle is that the divine hand, the sacred hand, connects us around the world where we are, we have that love and divine energy of surrender. And I will still sing a little bit of this in Garifuna. Wagushi is father. And just to make sure that father is not confused with the physical human father, we say Wagushi Bungio. That is a connectivity with the divine source. And we do not just pray out of our mouth, but our entire being connected with each other, we surrender, going back and receiving our healing, our strength, which is transmitted to the divine love energy of each other, where we believe that we are each made in the image and likeness of the divine, with or without the heartbeat and love language of the drums. The drums which we received from Africa speak a language of its own. The drums beat with the beat of the heart, just like the beat of the heart. We connect with the umbilical cord of Africa. Wagoshi bungio lida sung fula. You belong parumayawo. Adugwala ifamuseru. Lida mua lida sung fula. Lida mua lida sung fula. Wakushi bungyu lida sung fula. You belong yawo. Adugwala lida mua lida sung fula. Lida mua lida sung fula. So imagine that all of us are in the motion and the movement of going back into the womb of the earth, the womb of the divine. And as sometimes we get these labels like the Kalinago, we combine with the Kalinago people. And the sacred symbol for the Kalinago people is the womb. So in their sacred space and even in the clothing that they wear is the symbolism of the womb. The other composition of our being in our storytelling is that we have never been disconnected from Africa or each other, even though we are in a physical location. For example, the common thread for us is Urume. Urume, which is often referred to as St. Vincent, is a sacred space. It is a state of being. It is a sense of knowingness. It is a sense of beingness. It is a sense of oneness, somewhat like how the Irish and the Jewish people would have have their what they call their Mecca. Well, Urume is our state of being, our oneness with the divine, our connection with Africa. So we do a sacred dance that we call the Mali, like Mali, Africa. And in this dance, in this motion, in this movement, in this story, and let me say that in storytelling, everyone is included in the story. I for you and you for me, we are one. My healing depends on yours. Your healing depends on mine. Wherever we are connected in the world, in this state of beingness, in this state of consciousness. So we never left Africa. So we do the Mali. In the Mali, one Mali higher, let us dance to Mali, back to Africa. Mali, Africa. Shuffling our feet from side to side, swaying like the waves that we were brought across and carried beyond, waving our hands in connection with the universe, we heal, we overcome, we surrender, we release the pain. The heartbeat, our heart beats with the beat of the drums of Africa, as it fuses with the stories being told through the beat of the drums and the reconnection with the divine. Wamali hai hai, wamali haya, wamali haya, wamali haya, indendero, indendero, indendero. So one of the powerful linkages of being Garifuna or Garifuna duo, I for you and you for me, is that we engage with people from all over the world, wherever. For example, here in Belize, we have 900 Maya sites, pyramids. These are not ruins. These are places like in Africa, where there are hieroglyphs and different secrets of life that we need to reactivate and embrace again, because they hold the answers to issues such as climate change and water and shade. And this is where I have been blessed through divine grace to be a part of the El Pilar initiative, which embraces both Belize and Guatemala. The indigenous way of being does not have boundaries and does not have borders. So we are a bridge for humanity. The Garifuna engage with the Maya people here in Belize. I was delivered by a Maya midwife, and therefore there is a synchronicity between and among peoples. So we offer this as a gift for humanity, for all cultures. We're in the rainforest. The Maya rainforest teaches us as one how to address issues relating to construction, to medicine. Just being in the presence of the forest and with the plants and the knowledge of the plants is a powerful opportunity for us to be transformed and to transform around the world. It is a center. El Pilar is a central place, for example, for peace, for calm, for quietness, for reconciliation, for commonness, for oneness, for coming together. And as Garifuna, we work with all groups, the East Indian, the Maya, the Hispanic, the Europeans, everyone. And so this is an opportunity that we offer in this time of violence and confusion and war. So in summarizing, I would like to thank the organizers, Boila, for really giving us this launch to hold hands and hearts together to move forward. Congratulations for taking that bold step of connecting with our children, for developing a succession strategy around the world, of presencing Africa, which is the heartbeat and source of civilization. Give us the opportunity to change the narrative, as we did recently when we were in Urume, when my sister Queen Frida, who has been to Africa, who has been welcomed and initiated as a queen in different parts of Africa, she said it so perfectly. Our bones were buried and strewn on the island of Balisau. However, the miracle, the power, the strength of unity is that we overcame. We have not stayed. Our story is not just one of having been overcome or destroyed by the colonizers to stay in a place of woundedness. The power of this storytelling is to tell the story differently, to have a paradigm shift where we are victorious, we are victors. Our tears are tears of triumph. Our tears are tears of transformation, not just for the Garifuna, not just for Africa, but for the world. We lead the way as we share our stories by our cornrows sisters, how we braid our hair, tell stories, the colors that we use in our dress, tell stories, the food that we eat, tell stories, the songs that we sing, tell stories, the way in which we walk, tell stories, the Jankuno, which tells a story by its dance, by its drums, by the shells, by the colors, by the masks, telling the stories by the steps. So I want to thank you, Sister Queen, for giving me this privilege and this opportunity to have an intercultural communication and exchange. When we visited the Fort Charlotte at Urume, where Charlotte is a direct descendant from Queen, the royal people in England. We are royalty. Our chief, Chatouye, is royalty. Kings and queens are royal people from Africa who have come across here. So we reconnect and tell that story. And the curriculum is not what will be told in schools. The curriculum is through initiatives like this, Sister Queen, where we speak the truth, we be the truth, we are the truth, we walk the truth, and we take responsibility for 7 generations to come as a masterpiece culture for humanity. We connect with the Mende people from Sierra Leone. We connect with the Maroons who were thrown to die in Canada. We changed that story. I met with one of them in Urume. We changed the story by our headdress, by our mask, by our shells, by, as the sister was talking just now about those entities that are in the forest. We have the hunter man, we have the Tata Duhende, we have many, many stories that we are overflowing with love to transform the world. And we will not forget the first independent nation in the Caribbean, Haiti. When people speak about the so-called degradation of Haiti, we will not accept that narrative. Haiti is triumphant as the first independent African nation in the Caribbean. Sereme Niebo, thanks to you. Sereme Niebo Neduhe, Shulu Dan. Thanks be to you, my people. The time has come. The time is now.
Sereme, my sister ambassador, a huge applause for that healing session. It's always a pleasure having you around, and you know, the work we've been doing from different perspectives, but it unites us as Africans from different angles, and we keep working together to ensure that the next generations will feel proud and be happy to be Africans. And as we continue our communications and our links, I would also like to speak to my sisters and brothers from the continent in Africa to remember that we are the ones that can pave way to our people across the world that are unable to feel good or to experience the continent, that healing aspect of the continent. Please, we should be welcoming our families And the African Tales is about family. We are a family of Africans from around the world. And we are happy that each time we meet, each time we connect, there's always something new that we learn. And as Africans, we can learn a lot. We can restore a lot of our cultures through communication with our African people outside Africa. Vice versa, our African people can also restore their lives through communication with the continent, which is their heritage. Thank you so much, Sister Cynthia. And we're looking forward to the question and answer. I'm sure the audience would love to have a lot of interaction with all our speakers later on. On that note, I would like us to descend back to the continent. We move to one of our gentlemen here, my brother Lindumuzi, if you are ready. Please, we would like for you to take the floor. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here, Bala.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, my brother Lindumuzi from South Africa, we connected around our cultural heritage when we met in Ivory Coast, and ever since we've remained connected. This is how the African Tales family runs. We meet, we discover each other, and we stay family. He's a cellist who started playing for the Ionian Orchestra at the age of 15. He's a musician who is now coordinating music programs for the Ionian Music Society in South Africa. The Ionians are a South African community music program that was established in 1959. This program was founded by Lindumuzi's father, Professor Mngoma, who passed away, unfortunately, and they were celebrating his 100th. We should have turned 100 in November last year, so there was a big celebration for his invention of this orchestra to transmit our traditions, our cultures through music. Music has no language, so intercommunal communication is facilitated through music, drums, and all kinds of interpretation of traditions. If his father was alive, I think he would have made 100, if I'm right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so over to you, my brother, and he's going to share with us on how music transforms and helps to preserve our traditions and our cultures. Thank you so much for being with us. He's also, our coordinator for the African Tales project in South Africa.
Thank you for the opportunity, but this is not fair. How can you put me immediately after the ambassador? Such a powerful speech.
Because
really,
it's about music. That's exactly why I wanted us to descend to the continent, and no, because Peris is not here. She was going to follow up with the Maasai tradition, but we just lost her. I hope she can join us any moment. Thank you.
No, that's right. It's just that I'm just excited to hear other people's stories, the way they have been told so far. I'm forced by the host, Wala, to speak in Zulu, but I would have loved to convey this message in a language which is more accessible and understood by people, most of the people. But I'll resort to Zulu just to explain. The basis of the conversation is about telling people the effect of music making or music playing in our storytelling, which is really a very important thing especially in our communities, because in my country, which is not that big, South Africa, we have 12 official languages. So you can imagine the separation. Now we have to find a way of communicating somehow. Now I'm going to speak now, moving forward, in Zulu. I hope somebody will be able to translate this, but I did send some notes to Balwan, which can be looked at later. I'll start by saying, Ngiyathanda ukubonga i-AfricanTales ngesimemo. Ukukhuluma njengoba sazi sonke kuyinqubo endala, which is an old tradition. Sonke sithanda ukukhuluma ngomlando wethu ukuze izizukulwane zethu zazi ngawo. Ukuxhumana sikwenza ngezilimi ezihlukene ngezigodi zethu from the different areas. Kwelakithi eSouth Africa njengoba ngishilo, we have 12 official languages, ilimi eziwu-12. Isizathu sokuthi kube njalo ukuthi kuney'nhlanga, what we call tribes ezihlukene. Now I come from ngiphuma kwi-family, umndeni ophuma kuyinhlanga, which is three different tribes. One is Tswana, one is Zulu, one is Shangaan. NgesiZulu sithi abaTswana, amaZulu, amaShangaan. Labo bantu labo siphile sonke ngenxa yemisebenzi. Sasuka emakhaya seza emadolobheni ngenxa yomsebenzi, nangenxa yokubandlulula sagcina singakwazi ukukhuluma izilimi zethu, which is our languages, on a regular basis. So sagcina sithathela kuyilimi zabantu bangaphesheya, the so-called colonizers. Sathatha ilimi zabo sazenza ezethu. Namhlanje ingane zethu zikhuluma isilungu, or what we call English, which is unfortunate. Kodwa, because of the new dispensation, which is ngenxa yenkululeko, we are now fortunate to be able to make abantu bakithi proud. Abantu bakwazi ukuziqhenya ngokungabo babo. Bekukhona abantu abasaba nokuthi bazikhiphe ukuthi bayiziphi inhlanga. What I mean is there are people who are ashamed of being whatever race group or tribe group they are because they were looked down upon. Kodwa manje ngenxa yenkululeko izinto sezishintshile. Lokho kwenza ukuthi sihlale sibumbene. Kodwa ukwenza ukuthi inkulumo yami ingandi kakhulu ngoba sekukhulumeke kakhulu manje kuzosuke kumosheke lokho ebengifuna ukukhuluma ngawo. Engifuna ukukhuluma ngako kakhulu ukuthi lelimi lezi eziningi ezikhona eSouth Africa njengoba ngichazile ukuthi ziwu-12. Mina bengathanda ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi kwenzekani kuzo, ngoba omunye umuntu mayekhuluma olunye ulimi, like njengoba ngisho ukuthi mina i-mother tongue yami isiZulu, kodwa kwifamily yakithi kunesishangani bese kuba khona isiTswana. Now kuney'nkulumo eziba khona esiSwaneni, kube khona iy'nkulumo eziba khona esishanganini, abanye abantu bangakwazi uzizwa ngenxa yolimi, the language. Now what I've committed myself to, kusho ukuthi into engizinikele kuyo ukuthi kusukela ngo-1987 decide, I mean, I made it my mission to write stories of the different tribal groups in a musical form, because abantu ababhala ingoma, what I mean is composers babhala ngolwimi labo, they write in their own languages. Now masithatha lelimi lezi sizisondeza eduzane, sizwa inkulumo abakhuluma ngayo, ikhuluma ngezinto eziningi ezihlukene, like colonization, like all sorts of oppressions and ill treatments of our people. These are stories which are more like modern now than the old stories like fairy tales or what was talked about earlier. Mina inhloso yami ukuthi sazi ukuthi kwenzekani eSouth Africa, sazi ukuthi kwenzekani eZimbabwe, sazi ukuthi kwenzekani in the rest of Africa, abantu baphila kanjani. These are the challenges esinazo njengabantu. Njengoba nizwa angisakwazi ukukhuluma isiZulu esiphelele, kusho ukuthi pure Zulu ngoba ngenxa le colonization we end up not following our languages with pride, but we mix the languages. But through music, we can come back and bring people back to ukuthi bakwazi ukukhuluma ulwimi labo. Ngoba mangiye endaweni, when I go to a place and abstract or take out the composition and understand ukuthi iphumaphi, isho ukuthini, what is it talking about, iyangisiza ukuthi ngikwazi ukuchazela abanye abantu bezinye inhlanga, people from other nations, ukuthi lo mculo ungani. Ileyo nto iyasiza ukwenza what lento abayibiza ngesilungu i-social cohesion. So umculo ke ingakho ngithi ubalulekile kule simo esikuso. I would really love to see this whole project moving forward ngoba we have sesizamile ukuhlanganisa abantu abadlalayo abakwazi ukuchaza bawendlalele what is mean to interpret our music properly and with their own African nuances, which are different from what we know from the Western cultural harmony formats. Umculo wethu ujulile, it's very deep. I liked what Ambasa was talking about and the lady before, because they were talking about the actual thing engiyenzayo, I mean, to pick up the essence, ukujula ngesizulu. Essence ngesizulu kuthiwa ukujula kwe-culture yethu, komlando wethu. We have to be proud. Ingakho sifuna ukuthi simasikhuluma ngesintu abantwana bethu basizwe. Mangithi isintu, I'm not talking about Zulu phela, all other languages people must be proud of, so that they must be proud of their heritage and inheritance and themselves. So ngalezi ngoma esizidlalayo esizenzayo as an orchestra, enye into myth which is a problem ukuthi abantu abaningi bacabanga ukuthi uma udlala i-orchestra kusho ukuthi kufuneka udlale Western music. No, you have to play, when you play an orchestra, it's music which is in a format, and then you can arrange it the way you want to hear it, but it can still talk to the history and narrate to the people as how you understand it. So akulula at this stage ukubalekela i-Western culture, because iyi-base yokufunda lokubhala wethu at this moment. But sizokwazi ukuphuma kuyo if we make an effort of making ama-research afana nama-research ayenziwe Penda nabantu abanjengabo abonene, ukuthi bazi ukuthi what is actually happening around us and what happened ngaphambili. Ngalawo mazwi amafuphi ngizocela nje ukuthi ngithi angifuni ukwanda kakhulu, ngoba kuzoba khona isikhathi ngelinye ilanga lapho sizokwazi ukuthi sithole ithuba lokuxoxa ngalezi zinto esikhuluma ngazo in a more open panel where we can discuss, lapho singakwazi ukuba nama time restriction. Isikhathi asikho manje soxoxa ziningi kakhulu lezi zinto engifuna ukukhuluma ngazo. So mangithi ngiyathemba ukuthi igalelo lami kule ngxoxo liyasiza. Ngokuzithoba, uLindumuzi kaMngoma.
Thank you so much, my brother. And on that enlightenment about Africans can have an orchestra. An orchestra is not alien to us. We've always performed in groups with different music instruments. So the notion that Africans don't have ensembles, that's because, you know, the reality is we've lost so much of our confidence. We've lost so much of our traditions, so much of what was predominant in our cultures, that we often find things that are happening around us as alien, because we don't talk about it. We don't allow custodians of our knowledge to pass on this information. This is the key element in our program, is to make sure that we preserve our culture. And this is also the reason we are predominantly working with digital space. We want to make sure that we can communicate with each other wherever we are without any problem. We would not be able to afford meeting each other from different parts of the world if we had to all travel to one space. But once in a while, yes, we meet when it's possible, but we like to have continuous communication. And for people that are not part of the AfricanTales family, we usually have meetings Fridays, we just catch up on what's going on, because each one of us has got their own programs and own work that they're doing, but we congregate around our cultural heritage, our common cultural heritage, and also to encourage each other and also to know about ourselves. It's very important that we don't see each other as aliens, and especially among Africans. So thank you so much, and I would like to bring in our next speaker, all the way from Kenya, from the Maasai group. I know that the whole world knows, everybody has some notion about the Maasai group, but there's a lot more about the community than the sticks and the red and jumping and everything. So we have own daughter of the Maasai community, Peris, that's going to share with us in Maasai language, but also she will give us a resume in English to explain what she's talking about. The essence of using our mother tongues, like you could see, my brother was struggling speaking his own native language, IsiZulu. You know, as long as we don't communicate in our own mother tongues, we'll lose all that knowledge. Language is very important. We shouldn't leave it to waste. We have to practice. And among ourselves, we should find commonalities from our own languages to speak to each other, not always conversing in English or French or whatever languages we burdened with. We should find commonalities to communicate with each other. So our next guest is Peris. Peris is the CEO, founder of Kenya's Reading and Writing Culture organization, which nurtures authorship empowerment in Kenya and Africa. She's an author of 4 published books, including John None Easy Path and Other Stories, including a diary, 2012 diary, Chronicles of a Family, and Jesus Miracles. Currently, she's working on the 5th book called Costly Kiss. From a Maasai ethnic background, she has worked in Dubai at the Saudi German hospital, which is JCI accredited. In the dietitian's office, she worked in the dietitian's office for 7 years. She also met President Ruto on 12th December last year during the State House lunch to promote her organization, which promotes reading and writing in Kenya. So with that, and she made a request to the president for more libraries to be established in Nairobi, because for the entire population of 7 million in Nairobi, they only have 3 to 4 libraries. I think this is very common to most of our countries. It's not unique to Kenya, and we have to step up on making sure that we can encourage establishing and sharing of information through libraries across the countries. She last year she visited over 30 high schools and other institutions all over Kenya and empowered over 10,000 students on authorship. She's an owner of prestigious cottages in Loitokik near Amboseli, and she's a mother and a child of God. Peris, welcome, and we are happy to listen to your narration. Thank you. She's very, I think she has a lot of problems with the, are you there, Peris, or you have problems with the, you just unmute your microphone, please?
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, thank you
No
so
problem.
much, Bwalia. Yeah, you read that very well, and I'm happy to be here. I'm actually privileged and happy to talk about the Maasai people. I was born and brought up just beneath Mount Kilimanjaro, which is a Maasai land. I think it's important for this group to know that the Maasai people in the past years, in the 1700s or 1800s, the Maasai people occupied almost a part of Tanzania and almost all the cities in Kenya, because even the names of these cities in Kenya are all in Maasai language. So, for example, Nairobi, which is the whole world knows Nairobi city. Nairobi means a cold place, which was named by the Maasai people who lived there. But when the development came in, the building started in the earlier, let's say, 1800s, in the colonial time. The Maasai were pushed away and away, moving further so that their cattle can have green grass. So that's how the Maasai ended up moving out of the city. Around there is Naivasha and Nakuru. All these are Maasai names. These places have the flamingos. Naiposha means the lake. It's a Maasai word meaning the lake. And there is also Nanyuki, a place where we have this reserve place, Mount Kenya, and all these places were Maasai. So just to mention that, it's important that the people know what happened in the history of the Maasai people. We believe that we came down from heaven with our cows. That's why we really, really treasure the herds. We are the herds people, the cows people. It's our everything. We make the beds from the cow's skin. We drink the milk. We make the yogurt and everything, even butter with the milk. We drink. If someone is sick, we drink the cow's blood, which is mixed with milk. This is believed to have more protein, and it makes the person stronger. We are also using a lot of actually this happens still now. I'm glad that some of us has still kept the original we have still kept the original culture of the Maasai people. We still have the herbs. I have them in my house. I use them sometimes. Yeah, only that I have to ask, how is this made? Because somewhere I got lost along the way with Dubai and all this. So, but still, I'm trying to catch up with the old ways. And then, I finished the dress code. Let me speak about the dress code of the Maasai people. It's important that AfricanTales and everyone who is listening and the whole world, it's important that everyone knows what is being worn now as the Maasai. It's not the original Maasai attire. I can confidently, proudly say that, because in my photo that maybe I'm going to share later, I sent it to Bwalia in my original Maasai attire. That is the true original Maasai attire. So these days it has been modernized. It has been made. It has been added beads. Normally it's made of beads, but it has been added some beads that are not. They are not originally ours. It's from the West, and some are used to from other tribes. So it's not original, but it's people like to think it's Maasai, but it's not. So this is a point of correction for everyone. And I usually have a few people asking me, which is this the original Maasai? I say no, the sculptures, the what. This is not exactly the Maasai. It has been tilted a little bit, and I'm very sad, because if we continue like this, then we lose our track. Like Bwalia said, we will lose our track. So yeah, this is something to mention here. And another thing I will talk about is food. The Maasai people, now that the modernization came in, the schools, the churches, the activists, they have taught them the world's changing, the climate and everything. They have taught the Maasai people to eat other things. Otherwise, it was only milk and meat, and that's it, nothing else. So just now they've started to eat other things. This is just to educate people on what people think about the Maasai. And then something else is about circumcision for the men, and FGM for the and FGM for the ladies. This has been really fought in this country. I believe not only the Maasai do the FGM, the Somali and other tribes do, but the Maasai until now it is against the government laws, but still it is being done in secret because the Maasai refuse to leave their culture. They refuse to be tilted, and they are very strong on their views, and they refuse, even though it is a wrong thing medically, as the doctor says, but still they believe in their culture. They want to follow it. They still feel it's good for them. So this is still a tug of war between the Maasai and the government and the activists and the doctors and everything. So yeah, this is something also to mention here. And something else I would like to say is that marriage in Maasai culture, marriage is something that is very important. Actually, you will never find a Maasai girl married or working somewhere. Only these days, only recently, you will find them working somewhere or outside the outside this place in Nairobi and all. But in the past, only the girls who never went to school, and they never went to school, and they only stayed at home at a certain age, which is 12 years old. Actually, even 9 years old, they were then married off after FGM. FGM was very important before a girl is married because they had to. The dowry was up, and it was considered a taboo. Even a man would not marry a girl who did not undergo FGM. So this marriage is very important. The boys, the girls were married to older men. That was the rule. The girls have to marry older men. And there's a few books that have been written in Maasai language. Thanks to the people who wrote them. Even the songs books and all this have been translated. That's why I keep advocating on reading and writing, because some of the very old stories that were written in 1955, we would not see them now if they were not written. So that's why I keep advocating and preaching and shouting all over Kenya that people should have the appetite to read. Libraries should be made so that we can know our history back then, what happened. Even our kids right now, they would not know about AfricanTales if we don't write anything about it. In 100 years to come, the kids want to know, what did Walia do? What did Peris do? If it's not in papers, it's gone forever, never to be remembered, never to be known. So passing the knowledge from one generation to another, I think it's important to write things, songs, poems, stories, anything, plays. So that's why I advocate on reading and writing. In Maasai language, yeah, I decided to speak more of English so that everyone can understand. The stories are called Inkatini or Maasai. Inkatini or Maasai, Inkatini means stories in Maasai. So this is something that Inkatini is a name that is very old. It's an original name for the Maasai, and this even I had someone saying that he will name his child Inkatini. This is a Maasai girl who got married to another tribe and still wishes she doesn't even know the Maasai language, though she's a Maasai herself, but she doesn't know the Maasai language. And then the last part of my presentation, I think I don't know if everyone can see my camera. I have this ornament in front of me. This is just to show you the ornaments that were worn by the people. Can everyone see what I'm holding in front of me?
Yes, we can see it. Yes, we can see it. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Do those colors have a meaning?
Yes. This one is worn by an elderly lady. An elderly lady. This is like, let's say, married and already have kids, like 45 years old, they can wear this one. And then this one here, you can see has a long beads that goes down until to the knees or even down to the legs. This is worn during the wedding. So this is called ormelevishoi. This is called ormelevishoi. It's worn by the bride, and it's very, very special and valuable. So only this day that the bride wears it, and then when she's married, she will hang it in her bedroom as a reminder forever of her wedding day. When she grows old, like 90 years old, she can give it to her grandchild or a person who is favorite to her. And then another thing that is very important for everyone to see is this one. This one is called mboro. It's called mboro. This one is worn by the men, the young men. It crisscrosses the chest and the back. So that is mboro. And then in the original shoes for the Maasai, if you come to Kenya right now, you will see that the tire are cut into a shoe for the Maasai. But this one is the shoes from the skin, from the cow's skin or the goat's skin. This one, let me show you. Yeah, so these are the shoes from the cow's skin. So this is the original shoes. Some people, I heard someone calling them Jesus shoes. So I think Jesus also was wearing this. I don't know. But this is the original shoes for the Maasai. And this is how they look like. A few people have these shoes in their house. You will not find them these days. So I'm very proud to have kept this. I have kept it for almost maybe 30 years. I have these shoes in at home. So this is how they look like. I'm happy I could show you today. And this is a belt. This is a belt, a Maasai belt, how it was made. Now this belt is for a small young boy, maybe 10 years old or 8 years old. So this is a belt. I think that's all I have for today. And then I would like to show you the Maasai people. They used a horn. This horn. They used a horn to announce a fight, or to announce a newborn baby, or a dancing, or a celebration of some kind, marriage or celebration. So this horn was used. I don't know if everyone can figure out the sound of a horn, how it looks like, and it goes to very far, to a very far distance. It goes to a very far distance. So this horn was used for these occasions. Lastly, I will say about in Maasai culture, when someone dies, they were not doing they will not bury the dead. They usually when someone dies, if he dies in the house, they will vacate from that house. They will go far away, and they will slaughter a sheep which is very fat, and the sheep they will take the fat and they will smear on the person and then throw the person in the bush so that the hyenas and other animals will eat the person. They never buried like they do these days. These days they bury just recently. They started actually less than 5 years ago. In Kenya, if you go to the forests, you will still find carcasses for the Maasai. So they now these days recently they started burying because the churches came and the churches came and they teach the people and modern culture. So it's changed. Something else I would say is that the Maasai people, the women were the ones to build houses for the men, the huts. The cow dung huts, they were made from the cow dung. And I have a photo of the houses. You see, there is a woman, there is a lady there making the house. So she's building the house. It takes a few days, but this was the work of the lady to build the house for her family. And then if the man of the house has 5 wives, they stay in one compound, each wife with her own house. So her own hut, actually. Her own hut. And then there is one more ornament that I wanted to show you. This one. There is one ornament that I must show you. Yeah, this ornament. This ornament is also worn by the bride. It's supposed to hold my face. Someone is supposed to tie it for me at the back. But you can see it's also worn on the face. So this one it's like a crown. It's like a crown for the bride. So, and it's very beautiful actually. So this is like a crown for the bride. So a young girl wears this one plus the long beads that I showed you earlier. So this is also one of the ornaments that I wanted to show you. Yeah, so that's it from my side. I'm very happy. I'm enjoying everyone's story. Thank you so much. My internet is up and down, but I'm happy it has respected my session. Thank you so much. Please welcome to Kenya. Everyone who wants to come, stay at my place. I will support and show you around. I will be your personal tour guide. I love everyone. You're most welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bwalia.
Thank you so much, Peris. It's not only Bwalia, you know, behind all this work, there's an entire team, Francois, everybody that works to make sure that, you know, I do the production and other people do the technology. I have no clue about technology. I just gallivant, getting to learn as much as possible from our different communities. And this is what you get from this network that we have and keeps growing. For those that are not part of the AfricanTales, we have our connections with our communities in the entire continent and all over the world. And we work with coordinators. Peris is one of our team, together with the 2 other ladies in Kenya that organize the AfricanTales. But each one of us, we have our own projects, but we just come together to make sure that we can preserve our culture, make it interactive, and make sure that it's passed on from us, this generation, to the next generation. As they say, you know, that when a griot dies, it's like a library was burnt down. But in this century, there's no excuse for us to lose these memories. And we hope that in one way or another, among yourselves, you can contribute to us keeping the African traditions, our history alive. The other thing I wanted to mention, when Peris was talking about the FGM, you know, with our traditions and our cultures, not all our traditions and cultures are applicable in this moment in time. They must have served a purpose at the time they were introduced in their communities. So what we do, we don't we look at this critically and also make sure that those traditions that are harmful to our people are not passed on to other generations. So thank you so much, Peris, and I hope that we can get the pictures of all the items that you were showing us. We'll show them and describe them in the reports that we're going to make. First of all, on the video, but we're also compiling an ebook for all our presenters' work, including the presentations that have been made in our last activities, to make sure that people can have access to it, because we've had very great presentations from different parts of the world, from different African countries, and I think it would be nice for everybody to have access to that knowledge. This is what we're all about, passing on the knowledge. We don't want to keep libraries static. We want to be an interactive library and make sure that the information is passed on. This is critically to the reason why we have an annual school competition for primary school children. We don't expect children at that age to really know how to write or read. I mean, some primary school children, obviously they can read or write, but when they're 6 or 5 and they can't read or write, it's not a problem. What we're trying to do is to instill and to make sure they become curious about their identity and can carry on that curiosity into a positive way, and make sure that they get information from our elderly people that are the main custodians of our traditions and cultures. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go on to the next, I've shared a form in the chat. I've shared a form in the chat. Please fill it in if you are interested in us sharing our activities and some of our projects with you in the future. Fill it in, including your telephone number, so that we can easily access easily reach you. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next speaker will be Wilco. Are you here with us, Wilco? Are you still with Benjenok Metons?
Ja, ik ben nog hier.
Okay. So,
Ik ben er nog.
So our brother Wilco was born in the Maroon village of Wakibasu in the Brokopondo district area in Pedra and Paramaribo. That's in Suriname. He has a PhD in economics and a master in public administration. In his professional career, he has held the following positions, among others, as a director at the Ministry of Regional Development and Sport, general manager at online construction and contracting company, as a project manager of the Caribbean Regional Environmental Program. He's also been an accounts payable assistant at Stadsal. Is Envy Netherlands, or is that still in Suriname? Anyway, he's now involved as that was in Suriname. Okay, he's now involved as a process and project manager consultant in several sustainable area development projects and programs. He's also involved as a volunteer in various NGOs such as the Welvaart and Welzijn Wakibasu Foundation. Welvaart and Welzijn means well-being and health of this is best in his community in Suriname. The Saamaka Academia Foundation, this is his community as well in Suriname. The Association of Football Practice Masters in Suriname. Wilco is a passionate entrepreneur and strategic thinker who likes to use his strength for innovative projects and propositions that help people make you smile, make the world a little greener and better. Welcome, Wilco. He's going to give us a presentation in Dutch, which is his, the language that they speak. But an introduction in Dutch, but he'll give us a presentation in Sanka, which is his Saamaka, sorry. which is the language that he speaks in Suriname. Welcome, Wilco, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Zo. Ja, ook bedankt, Maya. Ik zal mijn introductie doen in het Nederlands. Omdat dat de taal is die wij praten in Suriname. Maar ik ben zelf een Maron. En de Maron taal die ik praat is Saamakaans. Dus het verhaal zal ik dus straks ook dan in het Saamakaans voorhouden. Ja, op de eerste plaats is het ook een genoegen. En ik ben ook blij dat ik mag participeren bij dit netwerk-evenement. Dit sluit heel goed aan, laat maar zeggen, op dus verschillende initiatieven, verschillende projecten waarmee wij bezig zijn in Suriname als Maron-gemeenschap. Onder andere zijn we dus bezig met een zoektocht naar overeenkomsten en sterke punten met andere gemeenschappen, andere Maron-gemeenschappen, maar ook zeg maar de Afrikaanse diaspora. En wat we proberen te doen is om dus meer bekendheid te geven aan het bestaan van de verschillende Maron-groepen, vooral in Suriname. En in dat kader is er recentelijk een boek geschreven door een groep Maron-intellectuelen, die dan ook een beetje meer vertellen, meer in de diepte vertellen over dus zeg maar de ontwikkeling van een van de Maron-stammen in Suriname, dat is de Saamaka. Dus dat is die stam waartoe ik behoor. Verder zijn wij dus ook bezig met verschillende andere initiatieven. En die ook heel goed aansluiten, denk ik, op dit netwerk. Waaronder dus vooral het vastleggen van de orale traditie, orale geschiedenis van onze mensen, van de Marons in Suriname. En wij hebben bewust ervoor gekozen om vooral gebruik te maken van zeg maar, de nieuwe technologie. En zoals Mwala dat zojuist zei, we proberen dus interactieve bibliotheken meer neer te zetten of informatiebronnen interactief te maken. Omdat we gemerkt hebben dat de technologie toch wel een goede invloed heeft gehad op het doorvertellen van verhalen en het vastleggen van informatie, vastleggen van verhalen over onze mensen in zeg maar de Maron-gemeenschappen. Ik ga zo meteen vertellen over dus, zeg maar de zwarte beschaving, die dus de mensen die uit Afrika zijn gehaald in de 15e, 16e eeuw en later. En dus uiteindelijk beland zijn in Suriname. En die mensen hebben dus dan op een gegeven moment een samenleving of een gemeenschap opgebouwd. En die gemeenschap heet dus de Maron. En dat zijn dus mensen die dan de onderdrukking niet konden doorstaan en zijn gevlucht, ontsnapt, gevochten. En ook later dus de vrijheid of vrede gesloten met de witte mensen, de kolonisator. En zij hebben dus hun samenleving gevestigd in het binnenland, in het achterland van Suriname. Verder zal ik ook een van die groepen highlighten. En dat is dus dan de Saamaka groep, waartoe ik dus zelf behoor. Is mijn screen voor iedereen zichtbaar, denk ik?
Ja, we kunnen dat bekijken. Yes, dank u.
Oké, right. Dus zoals ik al zei, dat de presentatie zal dus gaan over de Marons in Suriname. En dan zal ik nu overstappen naar mijn mijn taal zelf, mijn moedertaal. Undeno December, and that means that I'm greeting you all in Maroon language, the Saamaka language. Today no yo daunu yo to ude lowema pansu de talibi asana mineda Wilco Finisie, maar mi kondene da alasha bedi deusu blangataki.
Wilco, I don't know if it's
the-
me, but will you speak up a little bit? I don't know because I can hardly hear you. I don't know if it's just my micro, but if you could speak up a little bit, maybe.
Okay, let me switch off my earpiece. I think maybe it's because I'm using a device. Can you hear me better now?
Sure. Thank you.
Good.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah, the matukon December of Loema Pansu, Loema, de Talibia Sana, no henda deu to di me down akitide. And I fusu kamia, na meu kona down ufa de nenge bakama, ufsa de kumutu, go asana, usa Africa de kumutu go asana, and I fusu pisi udeu to di me down. You to pisi, na meu tona kona down baka, na fa di luwema do seti fa di grupo na de seti follow ko de do seti asana no baka di den no ko na dawono o for no de gulupu o de luwema ene kay de Saamaka nenge lu ko ay kay taki no kay taki ta leo na so Africa de bota de baka makumutu de sembe de vitalibia Africa usere kumutu kuna userego enda euluko bono na utastakita enda gansel di sembe kumutu a west central Africa en gansel di si tona gobaka aisel u North America kude eiland derene ai kaitaki utasta umeni million sembe de victima colonisator pu a Africa vanaf bota de ya wan dusu kubondo, wan dusu kufeitondo, chagwa baka. And the PC ude sebaki, de go asana, no de tako, bena wan dusu kufeiteni, 100 kufeiteni dusu sembe de chagwa asana. Kusadi sembe kumutu, o South Africa de kumutu, guasana. E lukwa di pampi akino itasi ta henda de sembe kansel de sembe kumutu a di konu konde di takai daume en daume no de takanye togo kubeni no bota na laso di lo ude ewe fon ku Yoruba italibi no na la kansel ude safu de bigwasa na kumutu e oluku mo fara no tasta otu wagan pisi ude sembe akikumutu ade luangu kamia pisi wata en luangu no ta dingi West Africa kuma Cameroon, Congo ku Angola. Wa pisi ude sembe aki ay bigi no de bikumutu ay sa pisi wata u Ghana ma adi later no he de bi equipment de bi komo bigi en de bi mo hia sembe ay se pisi Ghana. En te uhaksi de sembe ondo sukudu fu kasabi and pe baka de sembe kumutu Africa no they say ta tona piki baka many papers on ambak henda they say asabi and did adi precies rede van be baka de kumutu Africa Desembe u Benin, do hakside, no hende pikiu ta, henda kutuwengi desembe de Afrika nenge kumutu wa Afrika kwa sana. De haksi desembe u Nigeria, no de pikiwi ta henda de baka ganya de ta henda wan de bita bi wan face bida iboto, no de bi magwai face iboto denu. No hende lock the earth, de ganya de chago bota iboto, no hende pu de Afrika, Nigeria, chago asana. De ugwan Angola, no desembe Angola, de pikiwi ta henda desembe se de abi sabi ta henda sonwa sundi hembe mitide. Ma so they say no they be gi ubi sabi anta pasa anda isundi lita pasa anda desembe de bi quality. No so fasin be baka de kisi me de
Excuse me, Wilco, sorry to disrupt you. Were you supposed to move the slides, perhaps? Just checking?
Yeah. So
because I thought you prepared those slides for us to follow your conversation.
I thought it was moving.
No, they're not moving. Sorry.
Is this one moving?
No, so you need to just move them manually, I think. I'm sorry to disrupt your conversation.
I'm sorry about that. You never know when technology refuses to do what it's supposed to do. I'm sorry for that, but let me try sharing it again. Is it being shared? Moving now?
Sure, yes.
Okay. So, dus akim di konda anime baka desembe kumutu desembe Benin, Nigeria, ko Angola, anda desonde de konda dawi baka liugo ondo sukuluku fa anime baka desembe kumutu a Afrika wasana. No, di desembe wasana no de angu kuma wan folu wasana henda de kumutu a pipi konde a Afrika do wasana. Ma di de wasana no hende go di de fetiku de wetima lowe gwa matu no hende go seti de egi gulupu no de gulupu de seti asana u maron henda de maron gulupu sana no de seti a sikisi pisi henda yabi de Saamaka, yabi de njuka of okanisi, yabi matawai, yabi pamaka, yabi kwinti, yabi aluku. No eluku ay kaitaki si na unse pisi usana ikaitaki de ikaita usana Atlantic Ocean, French Guyana, Brazil. No di pisi wata kiso henda di kaita usana no akita si na unse de Saamaka folukude na unse de njuka folukude use de aluku folukude use de pamaka folukude. Bakadi de maron feti kude wetima kude baka no he de mbei frida kude vanaf bota de ya wandusu sebion do ku foteni kunegi en dat die fosu lesi die de baka die pubei umbei frida kude maron maar die vrede dan de ambigudo omdat de baka die kaya de maron no baka die de no hende tona go baka die eerste vrede die probeer umbei kude Saamaka no die tulesi no hende gombe frida kude njuka de okanisi adi wandusu sebion no ku 16 no vrede dan de die de hea bi hui wel en de kai die vrede die konda asana kuma die vrede die baka ku de maron city baka di de no hede tona sloit vrede kude Saamaka baka adi wandusu sebion no ku 16 kutu en baka de Saamaka no hede sloit vrede kude matawai kude pamaka kude kwinti kude aluku no akiso Mikele unu ufa de foluku seti asana de maron foluku ufa seti asana en te iluku aisaki no ita sta henda hibi wan foluku fa Saamaka foluku saide no aseti alo henda hibi wan lo tabi he fasifa seti. Hibi wan lo, ude maron e Saamaka e Okanisi of Pamaka a seti abi wan sem pasi akiso. En dan yabi mama bear, no, hibi wan mama bear, tona party baka a wosu dendo, no, hibi wan wosu dendo, tona party baka a bobi buka of mama mi. No, so a seti te committee a di losi. De maron lowe kwa matu, no, de seti de egiti amatu. En dat de abi de egi bestuur. En de foluku baka di de moksi kwa wan, de kai de Saamaka foluku, o kanisi foluku, no, hen de seti de sei, ta de abi wan gantima. No, di gantima ude, di hedima ude, di heditima, de bitatayen gama. No, baka gama, no, tabi wan hedikabiteni, no, hedikabiteni na de anago over wan pisiwata, no, di hedikabiteni basu abi kabiteni, no, di kabiteni, de dita ti bota wan konde. No, di kabiteni basu, no, abi de basia. Ya, no, de basia na de sei, deta, da di kabiteni ka kiti, usa ti wan konde. No, leti kuma fa, a seti a de Saamaka sosi, a seti a de Okwanisi, so a seti a hi de sikisi maron folukutu. Pour qu'on a piski so down over de Saamaka, en da de Saamaka se da wow de foluku de maron, no, en adia tudusuku foteni, teni afo, no, ibe abi bena 100 dusu Saamaka sembe. No, gan seude, eu look ai pampia que não está gan seude, bi kumutu a matu konde, no, de umo gan pisiude se tali bi a foto a paramaribo, manandeu ta si oktu, ta gan hia Saamaka sembe, lowego a fancy konde, pugota libi. En ya bi oktu wan gan pisi, ude sembe akiri tali bi a baka konde, a Nederland. Di tal se o de Saamaka sembe ade wan pai pison te lukwa pampia ki no itasi ta henda di tal o de Saamaka sembe no akumutu wautu fe kumutu a many pepe tongo akumutu ade Carib akumutu a Nederlands akumutu a Ingisi a Fansi ambe Igbo a Luangu Bantu Mende a Sana tongo a Portuguese a Wolof a hide pepe tongo aki tu de Saamaka tongo kumutu. Me baka tita fa Saamaka tongo no yuta ye so de tongo aki utaku for adi Saamaka tongo. En abonu kum daunu ook doen piki sauto over de law. Omdat die Saamaka foluku abi umeni pepe law. Yabi bijvoorbeeld abaisalo no adi abaisalo no de kan hidima de kan fitima bijvoorbeeld voor abaisalo te luku de ne aki no hidi ne aki tu tatona soigu baka Afrika bijvoorbeeld abaisalo ibe abi tata tuasa kala de awanalo ibe abi fuma kuna chiasimbe e luku de bitulo no ibe abi be umba lente biju e luku de dumbilo no ibe abi Maasai Momoi Nichi, Adugbe, en Agalipapa, e luko de Kwamalo, Beabi Alibutu, Kapatulo, le Beabi de Gao, Mikumataka Kasi, Pungu, Mukoko, Ma Mimba, Ma Olika, e luko de Kadosulo, le Beabi Tatawi, Abeti, luko de Machaulo, le Beabi Langu, Ajako, Si, e luko de Kasitulo, le Beabi Ma Panza, Watambilo, gang bungu kusu, sambu dosa, mapakia, e iluku nasilo, lebe abi yeba, beatisi, kofi, kwaku, akwajani, e iluku papatolo no lebe abi gaomi kuma tata ganja acho. no hide sembe akitu hide ni akitu da neng di kumutu a Afrika dide sembe te dide kwa sana anda de gwenti kudeta disi ude Saamaka sembe en de gwenti kudeta disi akitu bena adeda hide de maron folu kutu usana enda te wansembe dakube no a matukonde no de taboy poto da soma bema famous bebe ta te di befen musu sa kumutu bunu enda tada di be ka kiti te son sembe pai te amu ye pai no de ta wasi kendi wata no de ta tai befen ne tia pai enda kendi wata kise ale usa si kasi kini fe fo skini musu sa hairstyle hesi baka di de te di mi pai no baka wantu wiki no de uchen ko soy lanti no takanye puwa do te wamuye mi abi tenia di ya no de talaye koyo no tia do tenia 6 ya ko tenia 7 ya no de tade kosu tato antaki henda adodi ya de amuswabi usa te manu fasa to no adi sel de womi te womi abi tenia 6 of tenia 7 ya no de tade kamisa no kamisa de tato antaki amak to amak te muye amak gumbi wakase asana no dito u wan Saamaka muye ku wan Saamaka womi pacha meni pisi henda atabigi fanaf kiya muye henda fanaf piki no di mama u di tata u di ni u de tu ni de u libinande no de ta buta buka de sei henda kiya muye baka kiya muye no yogwa pidi muye no te pidi muye ka henda yogu suku muye te pidi muye ka no ikwe muye o libi no musulai pakade henda di breedschap you leave van breedschap te kumuye libi de sembe piki ai no de tube dan la di muye ku di womi asana de soiti ta henda wan Saamaka womi amak libi ku omeni muye no takanye kambosa adise u di tongo sei u vooral de Saamaka semema o tu de maron no tasta kita henda walo sondi di ala di mususeka de sonde mususeka abi vooral te maken ku di pisita kita di tongo fu henda wata de uta ye no de antako overin ku de se aso kamia no de tatoka ku de se baka di de se atona de so baka ta wabi wan fasti falta si kifi di tongo fu henda ta skifi hibi wan semeta skifi ne fasi no oke ta amususeka do ta skifi a wakodo fasi adesso ook ta de auto de umusul lei sabi kisi sabi over di foluku no hi de to de chubi pampia that to say wasana se de pampia na ne de pusa finde usale isi luko baka en masun di usinono hindikaita di teknologi vooral WhatsApp no gahia Saamaka sembe gahia maron ta gebruiken no usa uta dautu no di pisna de henda wan bunusun di ufendi ta usambe gebruik fengo mo fara en de fasi pa woto ude maron tada usa kunda sunju de se no ada many pisi di first kamera ya bi de tada auto a kontu de tada na shoto ma ook di se pisi kanda kupe no de abi many soto kanda ku many pe de tada auto bijvoorbeeld seketi cheke komanti papa ajo adonke bandamba a hide fasi aki tu de maron sembe ta abi tada auto ku de se de ta pe de ta baya tada auto ku de se yoto fasi baka udauto no henda wan sunde takai nongo no aku nongo de tada chubi woto fu sembe amu sabi e de anke woto sembe sabi ja bijvoorbeeld akiso didaka di ubi kaya wata na didaka de atapundi. Een blad voorop niet op de dag waarop het in het water valt of gevallen is.
Heel bedankt. Thank you so much, Wilco. You finished, right?
No one. This is my last slide. Can I?
Okay. I thought you were saying you were finished. Okay,
No.
because the slides are not moving, so we can't. But when you finish, you just run them through so that we can.
I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last Sunday ke kona kuno hene ka ita de feti de maron abi feti no ganse o de kumuto ise o politique di politique système ta beaucoup eigenlijk di social cultureel passiva de maron musulibi die da wan YouTube onderwijs say di tada amatu konde ay kam ade pisi wata te ka de maron ta de no onderwijs na de ande niveau kwaliteit fin bota anchika en de juffrouw leerkracht kusiko ande chika a die facilità de sembe dat de mi usakwasko kisile en ook toe die belangrijk zo die kuma fi sabi ability a die konte ka italibi die de se ita manke waardoor de Saamaka sembe de matukon sembe de ambi recht a de natuurlijke hulpbron die zonder a de gon denu gon liba o de zakgebruik usako kufesi. No, this is the last TPC with the Sunday big note of the big no can't food. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We missed the slides, but for the attendees, if you filled in the form, we'll send you the copy of the presentations. So it's you'll see them later. Before we just have one last presenter from Brazil. So if you keep your translation buttons on for Portuguese, because he's going to present his narration in Portuguese. Professor Everardo Tuela. Professor Everardo. Professor?
Madam Wali?
Oh, is Professor Everardo, are you there? Or Rogeria?
Yeah, Everardo.
Okay. Qui est là? Rogeria? Ou toi? Professor, are you going to speak or who's going to speak?
So eu, né?
Okay, so it's your turn now. We have 5 minutes for you to explain to us the community of African Brazilians, and for those that are not aware of the population of our diaspora, Brazil's got the largest population of Africans living outside the continent, only followed by North America. For your information, I think it's, how many millions are you? I can't remember exactly, but I will send you that information so that you understand the dynamics of the diaspora that we work with, that in the network. Because basically what we've done, we've mapped out communities of Africans around the world, and we link with them, and also some are just small pockets in the countries, but our people are everywhere in the world. Professor Everardo is a philosopher and also a professor at a university in Brazil, from the north of Brazil. He specializes in African religion, philosophy, and well, he's going to share with us information about Brazil in Portuguese. The main language people speak in Brazil is Portuguese, but some of our African community have got Bantu languages. Not everybody knows, and I think Professor Everardo would know that because he's studying languages and the traditions and everything. So maybe he can give us some example for how languages spoken by Africans in Brazil sound like. Professor, your turn.
Hi, everyone, everybody, my sister, my brother. It's a pleasure to stay here. My name is Esmeralda Lins. I'm philosophy teacher, professor, but now speak Portuguese. Okay?
Yeah, just a little bit, and then you can give, Rogeria is just joined us, you can give her just 1 or 2 minutes to round off. You go ahead, since you've already started.
Me parece que a Rogéria chegou, não é, Rogéria? Tudo bem?
Olá, boa tarde a todos. Desculpe-me o atraso. Eu sou Oyatunbi Rogeria, designer de moda, aromaterapeuta na Útero Ancestral Aromaterapia e sou coordenadora nacional do AfricanTales no Brasil. Eu vou falar resumidamente, né? Vou falar um resumo sobre a cultura afro no Brasil. De acordo com a Lei de Diretrizes e Bases da Educação, Lei de número 10.639, do ano de 2003, as escolas brasileiras devem inserir no currículo escolar do ensino da cultura afro-brasileira e sua história. A cultura afro-brasileira é o conjunto de manifestações culturais predominante no Brasil, formada a partir da junção de elementos da cultura e dos povos africanos que foram sequestrados e trazidos como escravo para o país durante o período colonial. Constitui-se que, a partir das heranças culturais e de diferentes povos africanos, assim houve uma inevitável apropriação cultural entre os costumes dos povos de vários locais da África. No entanto, há a presença dos dois principais grupos, bantus, oriundo do Congo, Angola e Moçambique. Em determinadas regiões do país, há maior predominância de algumas das duas particularidades. Por exemplo, a culinária afro-brasileira, mais presente no Nordeste do que no Sul do Brasil. Os estados brasileiros com maior expressão da cultura afro-brasileira são Alagoas, Pernambuco, Maranhão, Bahia, Espírito Santo, Minas Gerais, Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo e Rio Grande do Sul. A explicação para isso está no fato de terem sido os locais que receberam maior imigração de escravos, mais intensa durante o período colonial. Durante o Brasil colonial, todo tipo de manifestação cultural de origem africana era desestimulada e marginalizada na sociedade. Naquela época, os costumes e tradições dos povos africanos eram considerados primitivos e selvagens pelos europeus. Aproximadamente 40% de todos os negros que foram sequestrados de suas terras na África foram vendidos como escravos no Brasil. Devido a essa migração massiva, a presença da cultura africana ajudou a constituir a base dos atuais costumes e tradições brasileiros. Com o fim da escravidão no Brasil, em 1888, começa um lento processo de reinterpretação da cultura africana. Em meados do século XX, a elite brasileira começa a enxergar alguns aspectos culturais africanos como expressões artísticas, legítimas, e que representa na identidade nacional. E desde então, os caucasianos vêm se apropriando da cultura afro, o povo preto honrando seus ancestrais. Com sua cultura, tem a visão racista perante eles. Porém, quando os caucasianos fazem, é dito e visto como moda, predominantemente presente na música e na dança, são dois aspectos que tiveram grande influência na cultura afro-brasileira, tendo o tambor como base para os ritmos. A capoeira atualmente é considerada um patrimônio cultural e moral da humanidade, mas nem sempre foi assim. A capoeira foi proibida no Brasil durante muitos anos, por puro racismo cultural, tida como atividade de marginais. A partir da década de 1930, a prática passou a ser permitida no país, a partir de uma lei. O samba, entre todos os gêneros musicais que foram herdados da cultura africana, o samba é o mais expressivo, a parte mais importante da identidade do povo brasileiro. O samba ele surgiu na senzala, né? A cultura africana também está fortemente representada nos pratos típicos nacionais, como o vatapá, a feijoada, o acarajé, a cocada, a pamonha, o sarapatel. A culinária afro-brasileira usa de ingredientes trazidos pelos povos africanos em algumas regiões. A religião afro-brasileira, vítima de muito preconceito por décadas e até o presente momento. As religiões e cultos oriundos da África sempre foram discriminados, marginalizados e vistos com maus olhos na sociedade brasileira. No entanto, a partir dos meados do século XX, a intensa perseguição que sofríamos começou a ser abafada. Porém, hoje, ainda somos perseguidos, tendo casa de axé, local sagrado ao culto africano, queimados por mero racismo religioso. O candomblé e a umbanda são as religiões mais conhecidas com maior adepto religioso, sendo que a umbanda foi criada a partir do sincretismo entre o catolicismo, o espiritismo e o candomblé. Temos também a religião tradicional em Yorubá, o Ifá, o culto aos orixás, deuses africanos, como Orumilá, Oyá, Exu, Xangô e Oxum, entre variados deuses africanos. Aliás, o sincretismo religioso está muito presente nas religiões afro-brasileiras. Vale a pena salientar que os africanos sequestrados de seus lares eram obrigados a se converter ao catolicismo quando chegam ao Brasil e proibidos de praticar suas crenças, assim como afrodescendentes passaram a criar a associação dos santos católicos como seus orixás. No Brasil, temos várias religiões de matriz africana: o candomblé, a umbanda, o batuque, a cabula, o culto aos egunguns, o culto de Ifá, a encantaria, o omolocô, a quimbanda, o tambor de mina, o xamba, o xangô do Nordeste, entre outros. Foi sancionada pelo presidente da República, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, este ano, a lei que constituiu o Dia Nacional das Tradições de Raiz de Matrizes Africana e Nações Candomblé, a ser comemorado atualmente no dia 21 de março, sob Lei 14.519 de 2023. O projeto original prévia que o dia fosse comemorado em setembro, mas o Senado defendeu o dia escolhido, que fosse dia 21 de março, de todos os anos, já que esse dia foi definido pela Organização das Nações Unidas para o Dia Internacional contra a Discriminação Racial em 1966, em memória à tragédia que ficou conhecida como Massacre, em 1960, na cidade de Joanesburgo, na África do Sul. Esse é um resumo da cultura.
Rogeria, are you almost, can you round off, please? Because we're shooting well after overtime. Is that okay to almost round off? Rogeria?
Oi?
Can you finalize your presentation? We'll run it through later on. Professor Everardo, can you tell her that I'm just asking her to finalize because we're shooting overtime. We have a question and answer. Oh, Charity, if you're here, can you help me, please?
Yeah. Rogéria. O que é que você diz aí? Então?
Sobre o que, o professor Everaldo?
Ela está falando, é para mostrar, ela está falando, não entendi algumas palavras dela. A última, as últimas.
As últimas palavras?
Não sei se você percebeu alguma.
Ok.
Ela falou, é verdade.
Não, as últimas palavras foi que esse ano foi sancionado pelo presidente da República.
Sim, não, eu entendi. Eu estou dizendo assim, ela falou Everaldo, eu pensei que ela tinha feito alguma referência minha. Só isso aí. Mas você pode continuar sua fala.
Vou repetir. Após muita luta, né, felizmente esse ano, o presidente eleito da República no Brasil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, sob a lei número 14.519 do ano presente, o Dia Nacional de Tradições de Raiz de Matriz Africana e no Candomblé, a ser comemorado todos anualmente. Dia este, né, que foi escolhido por ser o dia 21, Dia Internacional contra a Discriminação Racial, desde 1966. Dia esse escolhido pela ONU.
Thank you so much, Rogeria. I think on this note, we'll round off the speaker's corner and we'll open the conversation for question and answer. If anybody has questions for Ambassador Cynthia, please go ahead because she has something to do. Please. Just raise your hand if you want to ask a question or you. Mary, Mary Babel, tu veux poser une question? Okay, I think she just raised her hand. Any question from anybody to our speakers? Well, it's been a long day, so I can understand, but I hope now you understand the complexities of our communities, but we still try to manage one or another. No barrier is high enough for us not to get together or unite. We always find a solution. So Madame Gueye, vous avez une question?
Je n'ai pas de question, mais je voudrais juste intervenir en disant que j'avais préparé une présentation pour le Wolof et qu'il y avait...
Ah d'accord, ok, vous voulez avoir 2 minutes, ok.
Il y avait eu une confusion.
Ok. Ok, merci.
Non,
Vas-y.
c'est pas grave. Si vous voulez, je peux le faire.
Non, non, vas-y.
Ok.
Non, non, c'est ok. 2 minutes, c'est ok.
D'accord. Donc, c'était juste pour rappeler que ce dont je voulais parler aujourd'hui, c'était Talatainder. Talatainder, c'est le mardi, c'est un mardi tragique qui s'est passé au Sénégal dans le passé et où des femmes se sont immolées par le feu pour échapper à l'esclavage des morts. L'esclavage des morts, quand je dis des morts, c'est-à-dire des Arabes. Alors, je veux juste dire quelques mots en Wolof, comme ça vous aurez une idée de l'histoire. Et je prendrai le passage où il y a une femme qui s'est levée pour dire à ses sœurs d'aller dans la case et de se tuer, de s'immoler au feu. Et dans cette case-là, il y a eu une femme qui était presque à terme, qui a pu s'échapper. Et les autres ont dit, laissez-la partir parce qu'elle va raconter l'histoire. Elle va raconter l'histoire à nos enfants. Cette histoire sera racontée aux enfants de nos enfants et ça ira loin jusqu'à aller à la postérité. Donc, je veux juste lire ce passage où la femme parle aux autres femmes en Wolof. Yéen jigéenu Ndeer, yéen doomu Waalo yu jàmbaar yi, jóg leen, takk leen seeni sër ba mu dëgër. Tey bésu dee la, ku dund danga ragal. Ndax danoo war a dëkk di daw naar yi ñuy song saa su nekk. Déedéet, déedéet. Tey sunu góor yi sori nañu. Sunuy doom làkk nañu leen. Te Yàlla dina leen sàmm. Kenn duñu def jaam. Nanu dugg ci néeg bu mag bi, taal sunu bopp. Naar yi saxaar akub doom rek lañu fiy fekk. Donc, c'était juste pour dire que ces femmes ont préféré la mort à l'asservissement. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Gueye. C'est très gentil. If there's no, est-ce qu'il y a question? Anybody wants to, any of our guests wants to say something before we close? So yes, this is what we do, and this is the work. We have a lot of work to carry on in our communities. If you are interested in preserving and working in the cultural heritage and traditions of Africans or in your community, please let us know and we'll be happy to work with you. Like I said, essentially in each country, we have a team that we work with in order to implement the programs. So while a lot of people are our permanent coordinators, but we also have several contacts that we connect with to make sure that we can have some work achieved. I mean, we are all voluntary workers, but if you are a decision maker, or you know people in decision-making places that can support our teams on the ground, we'll be most grateful to have that support, because we have a lot of work to do, and we keep telling our decision makers that without culture, we are lost as a people. This is what we have, and we have to safeguard it, because we can lose anything, but losing our identities is the biggest problem we can ever have as a people. And I say as a people, like I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, for us living in the diaspora, yes, I'm from Zambia, yes, I'm from Kenya, we don't make that distinction because we are only referred to as Africans. And I think it's a strength for us because it makes us feel united. And with that unity, we can actually support our communities back home to make sure that we also engage with each other across nations and across regions and also across continents with the people that are outside Africa, that we can work together on common activities and common initiatives to further the lives of ourselves, and also to ensure that we create a better environment for our young generation. Our ambition with the AfricanTales, apart from digitizing our oral history and traditions, and to make sure that you can easily access them or read them wherever. We want the information to be on their fingertips. You know, this is a social media era where children need to gather information at the fingertips. We want to also facilitate people that are in animations, that are documentaries, that are making films, that they can work together with our communities, but at the same time, make sure that the communities, the custodians of these traditions and history, they can also benefit from it. Because as a common practice, people come into our countries and to our communities to gather information, use as a study, and there's no gain for the communities themselves. You know, all that work has got intellectual property, which we need to make sure. For the music, there's intellectual property. For everything that we use, whether it's our dress, everything has been spread over the world, but does not give much value to us as Africans. And this is what we would like. We give information, we advise, and we also do very practical work, especially in the collection of the stories, to make sure that we can facilitate our decision makers and also the communities. In addition to preserving our traditions and history, we envisage setting up community programs, especially in the E-West, making sure that communities can access technology to maybe sell their services or their products, that they can take ownership. And we also fall back on our traditional methods that are very sustainable, practically, that that we can fall back on and use these methods to also improve and also to guard and to continue. For instance, at the moment, there's a lot of problem in I'm giving an example for my country in Zambia. We have a lot of problem with the usage of fertilizer. But in the past, people they had the manure, they had a way of rotating keeping the soil, maintaining the soil. So we should be able to safeguard some of our environments but using our traditional knowledge. So on this note, if there's no addition, I would like to thank all of you for staying with us, and we look forward to seeing you. This is an event that we organize just to share our tradition among ourselves. Usually it goes with many participants, and we gather a lot of information, as you can see. Somebody's, I don't know. Can somebody switch off the microphone, please?
I put on the microphone earlier just to make a double indication that I wanted to say something before you close. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Vualia, and your team. This is a really great initiative. For me, it's an eye-opener. My name is Freda. I'm calling from Namibia. I have seen one of my colleagues that I shared the link with is also on the group. I have 2 points. One point that I wanted to make is regarding the presentation that we had from the Maasai community by someone from that side. Like one person indicated in the chat, I was also interested in the way they are treating the dead. It may look primitive, just like the FMG that is taking place that side. But look, we are there to promote our culture, our heritage, and this is who we are. This is what makes us who we are, different from the others. We have our own reasons for doing whatever we are doing, whether it's FMG or putting the corpse in the forest to be eaten by lions and hyenas. These people must have reasons for doing what they are doing. So as custodians of our own heritage, I would say, let us courageously continue to promote and stand for what we do. and for who we are. For instance, Valia, you are from Zambia. Namibia, we are close to Zambia somewhere there. I'm aware of a practice known as Sikenge among the Balozi, where a young girl who has just, after their first menstruation, is put in a secluded place for some time. They are taught many things. There are reactions, negative ones, towards this practice. But us who are practitioners, for sure, we know the good things that we are getting out of this. We may say it's not fitting in the moment that we live in, but if I was going to ask the presenter from the Maasai community the significance of these practices, for sure, I might be convinced that whatever they are doing still serves the purpose that it was initially brought on board. My last comment is I have just shared the link, which is a story session that took place in Namibia some time ago. The narrator, Francis Mwinga, is here on the group. I hope he has managed to fill in the form. If he hasn't, I'll assist him to fill the form after the presentation, and then I'll send it to you. And let's see how you can assist him in that regard. Thank you so much for the initiative. Looking forward to more.
You're most welcome, Frida. I think those conversations on our traditions, I mean, preservation of corpses, that's a different issue, but if FGM is another issue, I think that's I think as anthropologists or psychologists, we've looked into those kind of traditions that are harmful. I think it's a discussion for another day. I think even the communities themselves, they understand some of those traditions don't serve a purpose in this day and age, but that's a discussion for another day, because they're very harmful.
Right,
I don't know if you've ever witnessed that and the consequences of that, but like I said, it's a discussion for another day. So unless somebody has please raise your hand. I mean, we are digital based, so we always communicate, most of the time we communicate this way. If you want to speak, just raise the hand that's there, and then we can see that you want to say something. So if there's no more suggestions or points, so can we say, oh, somebody has raised their hand? Yes, please. Go ahead. Francis, you've raised your hand. Just a few seconds, because we've been speaking for a long time. I think people must be tonight. Francis, did you want to say something? Okay, nobody's raised a hand, so I would like to close the meeting, and thank you so much to our presenters and to our audience. We're looking forward to seeing you. We have our meetings usually on on Fridays, and we also, for the countries that still want to send in entries for our just ended school competition, please let me know, because we don't have much time. The form will be removed from the link will be removed as soon as possible. So please let me know, because the person that manages that link is almost Amanda, did you want to say something? Okay, I see hands being raised, but there's nobody saying anything. Okay, so let's say thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Have a lovely Sunday, the rest of the Sunday. For those that it's still morning, have a lovely afternoon. Thank you.